And I just want to hit myself in the face so I can feel something. You know, it's like so boring. She's like, yeah, I like Instacart, but don't worry, I tip the poors. But, you know, Joy, you actually don't like Instacart and you do like the store. And then Joy is like, yeah, I do. I like to go to the store. I like to walk around and see what's at the store, what I do want, what I don't want. Maybe I want tuna fish, and I just want to hit myself.
Sunny Hostin just got hit with a full-blown legal storm and standing front row with popcorn in hand.
You know who just stunk up the View. The Bidens joined the View this morning for the entire hour. The audience was caught off guard, but knew something was up when they saw a dozen Secret Service agents and 2 embalmers. There were a few awkward moments, though, when a confused Joe asked if he could bid on the showcase. But was he surprised Kamala lost?
Gutfeld and Kat Timpf, who are roasting her harder than a Thanksgiving turkey served with a fresh subpoena. Her husband's $450 million fraud case is the scandal that won't stop giving. And the punchlines? They're richer than the alleged offshore accounts he's now being investigated for.
Like my husband, you know, operates on someone even though they don't have insurance and then has to sue health insurance companies to get paid for the work that he's been trained his whole life to do.
What Gutfeld and Timpf just said has people questioning more than the headlines. It's making folks wonder about ethics, credibility, and even who's really qualified to lecture the public on right and wrong. Sunny Hostin probably expected it to be just another day to deliver judgments from the View's table. The routine, a little self-righteous posturing, some elitist eye rolls, and a full-course serving of unsolicited moral lessons directed at America. But then, plot twist. While she was busy talking about justice and accountability, the universe flipped the script.
People have to wonder, where does Sunny Hostin get her opinions? Yeah. Like you said, it's obviously from her husband. She has to tell her what to say on The View, because without it, she's got nothing up there. She's not very bright. But the problem with her is that she went full racist. She injected skin color into a fairly generic behavior seen in all spouses, regardless of skin color. People marry, they listen to each other, they have something in common with them, they share their political views. She just didn't want to upset her husband by saying her husband makes her do everything, and then she'd have to accuse him of being a racist. Because if he told her that this is what white women do, then he's a racist. You see?
Breaking headlines hit like a gavel, and the courtroom of public opinion erupted. Her husband is now facing a fraud case so massive, it's being compared to financial crimes on the scale of Bernie Madoff. This case has sparked massive speculation across media and legal circles, and it's not going away quietly. Greg and Kat didn't hold back. They jumped in with biting commentary, sharp sarcasm, and enough jabs to make late-night hosts jealous. The story has become primetime comedy, courtroom drama, and media meltdown all rolled into one. Greg Gutfeld practically licked his fingers after unloading his punchlines, treating the scandal like it was dry-aged hypocrisy, carved tableside with extra flair. This wasn't just another headline segment. It was a gourmet-level roast, served on fine china with a generous helping of smug slap reduction. Kat Timpf? She saw the headline and laughed like someone who's been holding on to receipts for years, waiting for this exact moment to unfold on live television.
Amazing. Oh. That's not what I read. The true sign of the apocalypse is someone that dumb has a law degree. Worse, if your name has the word sun in it, there's no excuse for not knowing how an eclipse works. But it's no surprise that Joy is the one who understands science. She's been on the science diet for years. They're turning on me. So that makes Sunny Hostin, who thinks climate change caused the solar eclipse, the dumbest of them all. Because everyone knows the moon caused the eclipse, which is controlled by the View's gravitational pull.
To her, The View isn't just a talk show. It's become a high-end boutique of selective outrage, tailor-made for moral contradiction. This wasn't breaking news to her. It was fate showing up in designer heels. She watched, nearly gleeful, as Sunny's halo cracked under the spotlight of real-world accountability, revealing what critics say is a glittering crown of contradiction hiding underneath. Because let's face it, if hypocrisy were a luxury brand, The View would have franchised it globally by now. And Sunny? She's been the top-tier sales rep, racking up moral lecture points like frequent flyer miles. But here's the issue. You can't build your platform around ethics, corruption, and self-righteous commentary, then vanish quietly when your own household ends up looking like a deleted scene from The Wolf of Wall Street.
The witch's coven finally shows me some lovin'. Yesterday on The View, yours truly was the subject of conversation. Apparently the broads have no idea who I am, or so they say. Hit it, Gladys.
They said that Gutfeld talks about you all the time.
Who is he? Well, really, who is he?
I don't watch the show.
He has a show.
I don't watch the
never
show.
heard of him.
Yeah.
I guess he's just obsessed with me.
No. Next, Joy's going to say she's never heard of carbs. Seriously, her denial of knowing me is as believable as her red hair. But obsession? I mean, come on, Joy. Where would you even get that idea? Like Joy Behar's face, it's looking worse and worse by the day. More full of crap than Joy Behar after a night of scotch and Taco Bell. Her being named Joy is like me being named ugly. Joy wasn't there on the show. Apparently Mondays are her days off when she feeds in the pasture. It now smells like a humid day inside Joy Behar's moo-moo.
That's not how credibility or moral consistency works, not even in prime time. As for Joy Behar, it's like her usual commentary turned into background static amid this storm of contradictions. Gutfeld even joked that Sunny should launch a new segment called Allegedly Yours, where she hands out spicy takes from the moral high ground while actively dodging subpoenas. Kat, of course, chimed in with her signature deadpan delivery, adding just enough sarcasm to make the moment sting even more. At long last, The View has a storyline that's unintentionally entertaining.
Kat, how many co-hosts has The View had since it first started? I've lost count. I don't know any of these people.
No, that's because they don't stick around long enough. There have been 17 since 1997. That's a lot. That's because they're women.
Oh, really?
They're hormones. They're changing their minds. I don't want to work here. Yes, I do. That's why. Women are always changing jobs every day.
Wow,
I just quit.
Direct the mail to Catherine Timpf. Not me. I disavow everything she just said.
If laughter is truly the best medicine, then Kat and Greg just prescribed a year's worth to anyone exhausted by the show's usual wave of doom, gloom, and over-polished drama. They weren't just laughing at the scandal, they were dissecting it with precision, slicing straight through the show's towering structure of self-importance like it was an overpriced IKEA bookshelf. And when that bookshelf came crashing down under the weight of contradiction, Greg and Kat didn't flinch. They simply poured a drink, clinked glasses, and toasted to poetic justice, served extra spicy with no apologies. Gutfeld didn't just land a few sarcastic jabs. He built an entire sarcasm slip and slide, inviting the entire country to take a wild ride straight through the ruins of Sunny's credibility.
And I just want to hit myself in the face so I can feel something. You know, it's like so boring. He's like, yeah, I like Instacart, but don't worry, I tip the poors. But, you know, Joy, you actually don't like Instacart and you do like the store. And then Joy is like, yeah, I do. I like to go to the store. I like to walk around and see what's at the store, what I do want, what I don't want. Maybe I want tuna fish. And I just want to hit myself.
Irony wasn't just a tool, it was a tactical nuke. Greg reminded viewers that Sunny had spent the past few years mastering the delivery of sanctimonious lectures so intense, they made traditional sermons sound like short TikTok clips. Then came Kat. With the perfect timing of a seasoned sniper, she delivered one-liners so sharp they left moral high ground scorched. Sunny's entire brand, rooted in moral superiority, was now sinking faster than a View co-host trying to explain the economy without cue cards. Meanwhile, Gutfeld strutted through the unfolding mess like a smug cat that knocked over a priceless vase and then calmly blamed the dog. Kat? She looked like she was having the time of her life. Watching the empire of moral superiority crumble live on air, she didn't flinch, just leaned back with her signature half smirk that clearly said, This is going to be fun. Kat's disdain for The View is so thick, it might need its own tax bracket. And Sunny? She's just the latest cautionary tale in a long list of public figures who seem to believe moral superiority came with automatic immunity. Kat broke it down like a science fair project gone completely off the rails. Her delivery was razor sharp. Observe, her tone suggested, as she dissected how years of on-air ethics cosplay crumble when real-life accountability comes knocking, like a repo man with a clipboard and court papers. She even took a swipe at The View's signature vibe, a strange cocktail of brunch gossip and courtroom drama, by joking that their next segment should be titled Financial Crimes and Finger Wagging, a guide to having it both ways. But Greg Gutfeld wasn't about to be outdone. He floated the idea that Sunny's next appearance should include a spinning game show wheel with categories like fraud, privilege, and selective outrage. Spin it to find out which topic they'll gloss over today. Behind the scenes, it likely resembled a live-action soap opera mixed with a crisis PR seminar taught entirely by interns. Picture cue cards being torched, teleprompters blinking with system errors, and frantic producers whispering into earpieces, "For the love of ratings, someone mention Meghan Markle! Anything!" All in a desperate attempt to dodge the $450 million elephant now tap dancing through their glass house of moral commentary. And about those co-hosts, suddenly camera shy when the heat turns inward. The same group who can detect a GOP parking violation from 6 time zones away, now preaching privacy, peace, and love and light. Love and light, of course, being code for, we've hired legal counsel and we're not touching this scandal with a 10-minute Joy Behar monologue. The hypocrisy is loud, and Greg and Kat are making sure nobody misses a single beat. Greg could barely contain himself. The scandal was like handing a flamethrower to someone already juggling fireworks, and he was ready to light up the entire media circus. Kat, meanwhile, looked like she was watching the finale of her favorite reality show, except this version featured fake houseplants suing for defamation and credibility in free fall. This wasn't just a Sunny Hostin meltdown, it was an entire media ecosystem collapsing under its own weight, tripping over layers of smug commentary and falling face first into a pit of recycled platitudes. And as The View scrambled into full-blown damage control mode, Greg and Kat turned their sarcasm engines up to full throttle. No brakes, no filters. Because when your entire show has operated like a factory for sanctimony, and one of the founding managers ends up tied to a massive fraud case, you don't just lose credibility. You misplace your entire moral compass. And in Sunny's case, that moral compass may have been quietly recalibrated to avoid Accountability Boulevard and take a hard left down deflection lane. By this point, Greg and Kat weren't simply critiquing a daytime panel, they were jabbing at the inflated balloon of elite hypocrisy just to hear it wheeze out its final puffs of self-righteousness. And America? America was watching from the front row, popcorn in hand, waiting to see how The View would try to spin this situation without completely rewriting the laws of logic and public trust. Naturally, Gutfeld took it a step further. He didn't just laugh, he turned the scandal into a full-blown masterclass in accidental self-parody. He called out the show's regular sermon about how the right is corrupt, selfish, and essentially the root of all evil, only to now watch as Sunny's financial fairy tale veers off script into courtroom territory. And the best part? The sheer size of the alleged fraud. This wasn't a parking ticket or a misfiled W-2. This was a financial number so massive, it could make Wall Street CEOs raise an eyebrow in evil admiration. It had weight, reach, and enough zeros to stir up a media frenzy. Except, strangely, it didn't. Kat Timpf, never one to miss a crack in the media mask, broke the fourth wall with surgical precision, pointing out how The View somehow skipped over their own co-host's scandal with none of the fire, fury, or dramatic flair they've unleashed on others. There was no panel debate, no tense music cues, just an awkward shuffle to the next segment, as if a $450 million federal case were nothing more than a minor wardrobe malfunction during commercial break. Now imagine if this story had involved someone on the right. Meghan McCain would have been metaphorically tied to a stake and roasted live on basic cable, complete with graphics, theme music, and guest experts flown in for the takedown. Greg, never short on cheek, began making comparisons with razor-sharp wit. It was like irony packed its bags, moved to Manhattan, and bought VIP seating to The View. Then Kat delivered the cherry on top, the glaring silence from Sunny. No passionate monologue, no tearful, camera-ready reflection on accountability or justice. Nothing. Just crickets in high definition. Was anyone shocked? Not really. Greg, always ready to escalate, cranked his sarcasm dial so high it practically short-circuited. His commentary shifted into full-blown performance art, irony tap dancing across every inch of Sunny's once pristine moral platform. He didn't call for a GoFundMe. No, that would be too expected. Instead, he proposed something far more appropriate, a national popcorn fund. Because this scandal had everything: drama, irony, collapse, and chaos. And the American public, already locked in, deserved snacks for the show. And just when it felt like the roast was finally cooling down, Greg turned the burner right back up. And The View. Well, they just kept spinning in circles, hoping the storm would magically blow over. Spoiler alert, it won't. Not while people like Gutfeld and Timpf are still holding microphones and armed with fully functioning sarcasm detectors. But the real takeaway here isn't just the scandal. It's what the scandal exposes about the broader media ecosystem. An ecosystem drenched in smugness, where accountability is outsourced, double standards are imported, and reality is spun like laundry in a cable news washing machine. While Sunny's legal team is probably practicing deep breathing exercises just to stay calm, the rest of us, we're here for the comedy gold. Greg and Kat delivered what they do best. They exposed the cracks, laughed at the mess, and served it all back to viewers with the kind of flair that turns even a federal scandal into a sitcom. Except this sitcom doesn't end with a laugh track. It ends with a court date and a $450 million twist worthy of prime time. In the end, The View will try to carry on as if nothing ever happened, but the damage is already done. Thanks to Greg and Kat, this chapter has been permanently carved into the marble halls of media hypocrisy, framed under one unforgettable headline: Sunnyside Fraud. And no matter how much makeup, soft lighting, or convenient spin gets layered on top, the facts and the punchlines aren't going anywhere. And you better believe when the sequel hits, Greg and Kat will be front row with popcorn. If you enjoyed this takedown, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that share button too, because the next chapter's coming and it's bound to be even wilder.